Hello, students. How are you all? I hope everyone is good. In this lecture, in this session, we are going to discuss your AIET test, or I will say third AIET test we will discuss here. The physics portion we are going to discuss in this particular session. I hope you have given the test, scored good marks in the exam. So we will try to cover out the questions in this 1 hour session. So let's start our session. So we are starting with first question. Okay. So first question, you can pause the screen while watching and you can attempt yourself. So, okay, look at that. First of all, we will read the question. After that, we will solve. Okay. So the question says, a block A of mass m. This small block of mass m rests on a wedge of mass 2m. Okay. So this is of mass 2m and inclination theta. Very good. There is sufficient friction between A and B. Between the blocks A and B, there is sufficient friction so that A does not slip on B. That means A is at rest. The smaller block is at rest. If there is no friction between B and ground, the compression in the spring is. Now listen to me very carefully. If I select a pen like this small block is at rest. You will say this block is not moving. If I consider A plus B as a system, if I consider A plus B as a system, there is no horizontal force. There is no horizontal force acting. If there is no horizontal force acting, then the whole system will remain in this particular given position. If the system remains in this particular position, that means there will be no compression and no elongation in the spring. Now, just suppose no compression in the system. Why there is no compression? Because there is no horizontal force. Now, if I give you an example, let's suppose if friction was not sufficient, then this block will come down. Can you see that? This block will come down and its acceleration will be in this direction. Clear? Now, if this block is coming down, then there will be a component of this force, component of this acceleration along this direction. And to counter that, this block, the 2m mass block or the wedge will move in the backward direction so that the center of mass will remain at the same point. So this 2m will move in the backward direction. But now in this particular question, the small block is at rest. That means there is no horizontal. There will be no component of any force in the horizontal direction. So there will be no compression in the spring. That's why option B is correct. Tricky question, a one-liner. It's just a one-liner question. If there was some acceleration, then we can think about that. Okay, moving further for the next question. So correct option is D. You can see here. Now, next question. Read out the question again. We will try to highlight the question. Question says a charge of mass m is thrown with a velocity u naught in a region containing a uniform magnetic field b naught as shown in the figure. So if you look at the diagram, there is a magnetic field b naught and a charge q mass m is entering with velocity u naught perpendicular to it. You can see that this is perpendicular. The magnetic field is present only in a region D, and D is given as less than m u naught upon q b naught. Okay, we will look at that later. The angle of deviation they are asking by the particle. Okay, so first of all, we will redraw the diagram. Okay, Look at that. Let's suppose this is the region in which magnetic field is present. Clear? And a charge is entering, like I will say this. A charge is entering like this. With some velocity, you can see velocity is u naught, charge is q, mass is m. Now, as this charge enters the magnetic field is into the plane. Magnetic field is into the plane, that is given as b naught. Clear? Now, if you can see what will be the path of the particle, if I see as it enters at this point, let's suppose this point is something A. This point is something A, let's suppose A. So at this point, the force, if I use right hand thumb rule, velocity is in the right side direction, magnetic field in the inward direction. So QV cross B, if I apply, the force will be in the upward direction. So the direction of my thumb will indicate its center. So center will be along this line. Center will be along this line. This line means above somewhere A. Now, next thing is this D, the separation D is somewhat less than radius. Can you see that this m v naught upon q v naught is nothing but the radius? That means this is less than the radius. So this particle will not move in a circular path or will not cover a complete circle, but it will move something like that, like this. And after that, it will move undeviated because here the magnetic field is zero. So it will move something like that. So they are asking me the deviation. So if I look at the deviation, this is the original path of the particle and this is the final path. If I draw the tangent here. So this angle I need to calculate as theta. Clear? First of all, you need to know what you are going to calculate. And this is the boundary. Now look at that again. Let's suppose this is the center. I am not supposing, I have decided that my center will be along this line. Let's suppose this is center O. So if you join this line, this is the path of the circular, this is the circular path of the particle. So this is going to be the radius. Let's suppose this is the radius R. Clear? For your simplicity, I am using different colors and I am just joining this one. Now tell me, this is the horizontal line, nothing else, nothing special in it. This angle is theta, so this angle will also be theta. This theta is my angle of deviation. And if this angle is theta, this will be 90 minus theta and this will be theta again. So I need to calculate this theta. So in this triangle, let's suppose this point is A, this point is B, this point is C. In triangle OBC, in triangle OBC, if you look, I need to calculate this theta. And I know this BC is D and this is hypotenuse is R. So sine theta is equals to D by R, where R is the radius. And what is the radius of the circular path? Everybody knows. Tell me what will be the radius of the circular path? Someone will answer and everyone should answer. What will be the radius of the circular path? Yes, correct. So if I write it here, sine theta is equals to D over R is what? MV over QV. Everybody remembers radius of the circular path. If I write somewhere, Radius of the circular path is mv by qb. This is the radius. Now m is given as mass. What is the velocity of the particle? U naught divided by the divide portion will go in the numerical not, it's a numerator side. Q and magnetic field is V naught. So theta is equals to sine inverse dq B naught by mu naught. dq, that is option number A. So which option is correct? Option A is correct. Clear? You can see that option A is the right answer. Is this question clear? Simple question. Now, they there might be a situation like if I say there might be a situation they will give you the exact value of D. Like D is sometimes they may give you like D is equals to mu naught by 2 qb naught. Now, if the particular value is given, you can put this particular value and you will get some numerical value, some angle in actual radians or degrees. You will get some angle. So that's why I'm saying this is the standard procedure to calculate. Now, after that, you can use whatever value is given. You can solve that. I hope it is clear. This was a good question. Now, moving further. Okay. The question says, take a pause, try to solve it out. Four masses, 2 kg, 4 kg, and 10 kg are placed at three corners of a square. You can see the diagram here. 4 kg, 10 kg, 2 kg, and m. What should be the mass placed at fourth corner so that the center of mass is exactly at the center of the square? Okay, so no problem. Easy question. Look at that. We will try to draw the diagram. So one thing is clear, the question is about center of mass. So while drawing the diagram, one thing that should come in your mind, that what is the formula for center of mass? This is the case of discrete particle. This is not a continuous body. This is the case of discrete particle. Then how we find the center of mass? So this is 2 kg, this is 10 kg, this is 4 kg, and this is something m they are saying. Okay. So first thing, while solving for center of mass that you have learned in the classes, there must be some origin. And if I take this as a x-axis and this as y-axis, so this is going to be my origin, O. Now the formula for center of mass, if I write for your reference, center of mass, the x coordinate of center of mass is, or if I write in terms of sigma, that is sigma mixi divided by sigma mi. I hope you remember. Mixi means m1 x1 plus m2 x2. If you open the sigma sign, summation sign, m1 x1, m2 x2, m3 x3 like that. Okay, so there are four masses. Now you can see this is x term. X is what? X coordinate. X is what? X coordinate of the mass. So for that you need side of the square. So side of the square is also not given. So I am assuming the side of the square to be 2a. I am assuming the side of the square to be 2a. Now the question says center of mass is exactly at the center of the square. Exactly at the center means at this point. Exactly at the center means this point. So this point, if you say this distance will be a and this distance will be a, because total side I have taken 2a. Clear. Now I am solving, putting these values. So x coordinate of this system, x coordinate of this system is a comma a. So x coordinate is a is equals to, if I put m1 x1, then m1 is 4, into 0 plus second mass is m into 2a plus third mass is 2 into 2a plus fourth mass is 10 into 0. I hope you know this 10 kg mass has 0 x coordinate divided by total mass. Total mass of the system is what? 10 to 12 for 16 plus m. That is 16 plus m. Clear? So you can multiply it, cross multiply it, 16a. Okay. Before multiplying, you can see one thing. This term is 0. This term is 0. And out of these terms, a can be taken as common and can be cancelled. So that is 16 plus m will be 2m plus 4. 2m plus 4. So that is 12 is equals to m. So the mass is coming out to be 12 kg. Now just don't go with the flow. You need to check for the y coordinate as well, with the y coordinate as well. Just don't stop here. If you go for the y coordinate, if you calculate, it will be m1 y1, m2 y2, m3 y3, m4 y4 divided by total mass. Clear? So if you go like that, so for 4 kg, its y coordinate is 0 plus for m kg, its y coordinate is again 0 plus for 2 kg y coordinate is 2a plus for 10 kg y coordinate is again 2a divided by total mass is what? 16 plus m. And this y coordinate is also a. So you can write here a. I hope you are getting my point. You can write here as a. Again, you can see this is 0, this is 0. A can be cancelled. So 16 plus m is equals to 4 plus 20. Is it clear? Yes. So that is m is equals to, this one is 24 and this 16 will here come here and negative. So 24 minus 16, that is 8 kg. That means by using x coordinates or x coordinate of center of mass is coming as 12 kg and here it is coming as 8 kg. That means this situation is not possible because we can't get two answers for the same question. We can't say that here 12 kg is can be put or 8 kg can be put. So that means this situation is not possible. That means the situation is not possible. That means not possible. And if not possible, so answer is what? D is the right answer. Clear? I hope it is clear. No problem with that. Moving further for the next question. Question says the least count of a screw gauge is 0.01 mm. Okay, let me tell you one thing. Vernier and screw gauge are two very important topics. Vernier is the question from Vernier came when they want to make it difficult and when they want to make it easier, they will give question from screw gauge. Okay. So the least count of screw gauge is 0.101 mm and total number of circular scale readings are 100. Okay, two things in my mind. Now find the pitch of the screw gauge. So as I see the question says only pitch of the screw gauge. So first of all, I will try to write down the formula of the pitch. Pitch is what? Or if you remember it in terms of least count, what is least count? Least count is equals to pitch divided by number of divisions. I hope everybody remembers this formula. Number of divisions in circular scale. Okay. Now least count is given as something 0.01 mm. And this number of circular scale division you can multiply here, which is given as 100 is equals to pitch. So if you multiply it, this is going to be 1 mm is equals to pitch. So what is pitch? Pitch is going to be 1 mm, which is correct option number A. The correct option is A. Clear? Okay. So next question is from gravitation chapter. So there is a geostationary satellite is orbiting the Earth at a height 5r. So there is a satellite which is orbiting the Earth at a height of 5r. Above the surface of the Earth has a time period of 24 hours, where r being the radius of the Earth. Okay. So if I draw, this is the Earth, and at a distance 5r, a satellite is revolving. This is kind of satellite. And this is Earth, which has a radius r. Clear? The time period of another satellite in hours at a height 2r from the surface of the Earth. So now they are asking for another satellite which is at a height only 2r. This is satellite and this is our radius of the Earth, r. Very simple. So for that, you must know what is the time period, the formula of the time period. If I recall, the formula of the time period, if you recall, t square is equals to 4 pi square by gm into re plus h whole cube. What is this re? Re is the radius of the Earth. H is the height from the surface of the Earth to the whole cube. Now, if you can see, all these things are constant. All these things are constant. So I will say T1 square by T2 square is equals to radius of the Earth is constant. That is Re plus H1 divided by Re plus H2 whole cube. Now put the values. That is T1 by T2. T1 square by T2 square is equals to, in first case, height H1 is 5r, H2 is 2r. So if you put H1 as 5r, so that is 5r plus r, that is 6r. That is 6r divided by, here it will be 2r plus r, that is 3r. 2. R and r can be cancelled, that is 2 cube. 3r into 2, 2 cube, that is 8. So T1 by T2, if I say, will be what I say, T1 by T2 whole square. If you remove whole square, it will be 2 root 2. Is it clear? It will be 2 root 2. Now they are asking time period, second time period T2. So this T2 will be what? T1 by 2 root 2. And T1 is what? 24 hours divided by 2 root 2. And if you solve, that is 12, 6 root 2. That is 6 root 2, which is option number A. I hope the calculation part, you can skip it. You can solve it by yourself. But what you should remember, the relation you should remember only. These two things, ultimately, at this point, up to this point, the question is from my side. After that, you can solve it. So correct option is A. Okay. Moving further for the next question. Two waves of equal amplitude and frequency interfere each other. Okay. The ratio of intensity when the two waves arrive in phase, that means phi is equals to 0. And when they arrive 90 degree out of phase, that means in second case, phi is 90 degree. Two situations are here. That means two waves are coming. Their amplitude is same. And when they reach once or the first time, their phase difference is 0. They are in same phase, and another time they are having a phase difference of 90 degree. We want to calculate the ratio of the intensities. Okay, very simple. So if you remember, the formula I will write first. After that, we can solve. So if I write the formula of intensity or the net intensity, I is equals to root of I1. Okay, my bad. It's I1 plus I2 plus 2 root I1 I2 cos phi. I'm going with the basic, otherwise I can directly use the formula. That formula is total intensity is 4 I naught cos square phi by 2. I can directly use this relation as well, but skip it. We will do with the basics so that you can understand the basics as well. So I1 plus I2 plus 2 I1 I2 cos phi. What is I1 and what is I2? I1 is the intensity of the first wave. I2 is the intensity of the second wave. Clear? Now both have equal amplitude. If the amplitudes are equal, that means I1 and I2 are also equal. If amplitude is equal, that means I1 and I2 are also equal. Clear? So here I1 is equals to I2 is equals to, let's suppose, I naught. Clear? So the intensity or the net intensity in the first case, I1 net, I will say, is equals to, now put the values, I naught plus I naught plus 2 I naught. You know why 2 I naught? Because I naught root will be cancelled. I naught cos phi. Phi is what? 0. So cos 0 is what? 1. Clear? So that is 2 and 2, 4 I naught. So I1 net is equals to 4 I naught. Let it be equation number 1. Now for the second case, when phi is 90, you can see for the second case, I2 net. Again, you can say I1 is I naught plus I naught. I will write here I naught plus I naught plus, can you see cos 90 will be 0? If you put the second situation, phi is what? 90 degree. And if you put cos 90 is 0, so that term is 0. That means it is coming out to be 2 I naught. So I2 net is what? 2 I naught. That will be second equation. So if you calculate the ratio, I1 net divided by I2 net, that is coming out to be 4 I naught by 2 I naught. That is 2:1. 2:1 means option C is correct. Option C is correct. Is it clear? Is the concept clear to you? What you should do, you should remember this relation. And another thing is, if amplitude is same, then intensity will also be same, because intensity is directly proportional to amplitude square. So if amplitude is same, then intensity will also be same. The correct option is C. Clear. Moving further. Is there any doubt? I don't think there is any kind of doubts between you. Okay, moving further. Okay, this is again a good question. A conducting disk rotating about its axis. Now look at that. There is a disk which is rotating about its axis in a perpendicular, uniform, and constant magnetic field. B. A resistor of R is connected between the center and the rim. This is D. You can say this is D, THE. You can adjust like that. The radius of the disk is 5 centimeter. Angular speed is this one. Magnetic field is this one. R is this one. The current through the resistor. Now you look at the diagram. This is the disk which is rotating. Now one thing, they are asking the current. Look at me. When this disk is rotating, due to its rotation in the perpendicular magnetic field, some EMF will be induced across the center and the rim point. And through this potential, there is an external resistor connected. So if some potential is there, a circuit will form, a resistor is there, so some current will be there. So current in this circuit, I is equals to E by R. That everybody knows. R is given, you need to calculate EMF. So EMF across the ends like this. These are the ends. Across this end, there will be some sort of EMF. Clear? So some sort of EMF like this one. Okay. So this EMF, you remember, if you remember from the previous classes or the lectures that we have taken in the electromagnetic induction chapter, the EMF induced between the center and the rim point will be E is equals to half B omega radius square. Half B omega radius square. So you can calculate EMF. EMF is equals to half. Magnetic field is what? You can find magnetic field is something given 0.10. B omega is what? 40. Radius is given something or not? Is there any sort of radius given? No, radius. Okay, radius is given. Radius is given as 5 centimeter. Okay, I thought radius is not given. Then how we are going to solve the question? Then I thought something is missing in the question. So radius is given as 5 centimeter. So if you square it, it will become 25 into 10 raised to the power minus 4. Half B omega R square. You can simplify it to, and it can be written as 20. From this 0, decimal can be cancelled. So it will be something 50. EMF will be 50 into 10 to the power minus 4. This is EMF. Clear? So from 1, if I put the values from equation 1, I will be 50 into 10 to power minus 4 EMF divided by resistance. And resistance is what? 1 ohm. That means 50 into 10 to power minus 4 ampere. And the answer is given in milliampere. So you can write it as 5 into 10 to power minus 3 ampere, or that is 5 milliampere. And 5 milliampere is option number A. Is it clear to everyone? So how we started the question, you need to go through with that. The question is asking for current. And as I see the current, the first thing that came to my mind, that some EMF will be induced in the disk, and there is a connection across the resistor. So yeah, I is equals to E by R, Ohm's law. So my first focus or the second focus in the question is towards calculation of the EMF. So if I calculate the EMF, I use the formula of the EMF, and this formula you should remember. You should remember, and you must know this formula. Clear? Moving further. Correct option is A. Okay, another question. When a piece of aluminum wire, okay, of some finite length, some length is fixed, is drawn through a series of dies to reduce its diameter to half its original value, okay, its resistance will become, okay. Can you imagine? Diameter is decreasing. You have a piece of wire like this, and its diameter is decreasing. Then what will happen? If the wire should remain the same, the material, you can't cut it out, you can't remove any part of this wire, and the wire is also in the same shape, I will say. It will be cylindrical, it will remain cylindrical. So what will happen? Its length will increase, na? Like you can see, you have a cylindrical wire like this. Now you are saying its diameter is decreasing. Diameter is decreasing. That means if you have not removed any part of this wire, then its length will increase something. Then its length will increase while wire will become thinner, but its length will increase. So what I'm saying, let's suppose initial radius was R1, final radius is R2. Initial length is L1, final length is L2. No problem with that. I think so. Okay. Moving further. Look at that. Now they want us to calculate the new resistance. So everyone should know that resistance is equals to rho L by A. No problem with that. So you can write it as R1 over R2. Wire is of aluminum, that means resistivity will remain constant. So that will be L1 over L2 into A2 over A1. Clear? Area is area of cross section, na? A2 over reciprocal to area. Or if you again simplify it, R1 over R2 is equals to L1 over L2 into area is pi r square. That cross section area is pi r square. So pi and pi can be cancelled. That can be written as R2 square by R1 square. Till now, there is no problem, I hope. Clear now? Now, we need to find a relation between R1 and L1. Now, look at here. If no portion is removed, then volume of the wire will remain constant. So, volume initial will be equals to volume final. This is not potential. This is volume I am writing. I am writing volume. So, volume, what is the volume? Pi r square h, you know that. So, that is pi R1 square L1 is equals to pi R2 square L2. Pi and pi can be cancelled. Clear? So the ratio of L1 over L2 is equals to R2 square by R1 square. Clear? Now put the values. So resistance R1 by R2 is equals to L1 by L2. If you put R2 square by R1 square, so it will become R2 by R1 whole power 4. Now you can easily solve. This is just simple calculation that R1 by R2 is what? R2 by R1. R2 by R1. What is this R2 by R1? They are saying diameter reduces to half if initial diameter. Is there any problem with diameter and radius? If diameter is decreasing to half, then radius is also decreasing to half. Now there is no problem with that. I hope you understand. So don't confuse it with sir, diameter is getting reduced to half and why you are using it as radius. Both things are same. Okay. Now coming back. Let's initial uh, diameter is, let's suppose 2r, then final will be r. It's reduced to half. So if I put the values, r2 is r divided by 2r whole power 4. That is 2, 2, 2, 2. 2 raised to power 4 is 16. That is r1 by r2 is equals to 1 by 16, or r2 is equals to 16 r1, which is our option number. Option number, which option number? D, which is our correct option number D. I hope it is also clear. Should I move further? Okay, sir. You can move. भाग जाओ आप सर. मत पढ़ाओ हमें, बहुत पढ़ लिया हमने. Next question. Okay, this is important question. Don't take it lightly. Read the question. Okay, you can read the question. You can pause. A resistance of 4 ohm and a wire of length 5 meter and resistance 5 ohm. Okay, look at that. Wire of length 5 meter and resistance 5 ohm are joined. That means this 5 ohm is not extra resistance. This 5 ohm resistance is of the wire, are joined in series and connected to a cell of EMF 10 volt and internal resistance 1 ohm. Just pause here. Just pause here. Draw this part of the circuit. Draw this part of the circuit. According to the question, there is a 10 volt cell, 10 volt cell, which has some internal resistance of 1 ohm. This is its internal resistance 1 ohm. Very good. And a resistance of 4 ohm. I am connecting all these in series. This is the external part, and all these things are connected with a wire. All these things are connected with a wire. So let's suppose this is the wire. And this wire itself has some resistance. If I have a wire, this wire will have some resistance. So its resistance is given as 5 ohm, and its resistance is given as 5 ohm. Like this. And length is also given as 5 meter. Okay. So this is the part of the circuit. And with this part, some external cells are connected. That is the next part of the question. You can see the diagram. Here you can see the diagram. But in this part, if I say, what is the total resistance or what will be the current in this part? What will be the current in this part? I. So you can clearly state that the current in this part is EMF divided by total resistance of the system. And all these resistances are connected in series. So what is the total resistance of the system? 4 ohm plus 1 ohm, 5 ohm, 5 and 5, 10 ohm. Clear? So you can say EMF is 10 volt divided by R equivalent is 10 ohms. That means I is what? 1 ampere. That means 1 ampere current is flowing through this wire. This wire has a current of 1 ampere. Is it clear now? Very good. Now, the next statement says a parallel combination of two identical cells. Listen to each and every word. Two identical cells is balanced across 300 centimeter of the wire. The EMF of each cell is, they are asking. One thing that is very clear. If these two identical cells are connected in parallel, so their equivalent will be equal to any one of the cells. Not getting my point. If n identical cells are connected in parallel, their equivalent is equals to EMF of any one cell. That means if I draw the equivalent circuit, this is nothing but one cell is connected like this with the galvanometer and like this. And this is balanced at 3 meter length. Now, listen to me. Listen to me very carefully. This wire, let's suppose this wire has some name AB. This AB wire is of 5 meter length. Clear? And it has a current of 1 ampere and a resistance of 5 ohm. So what will be the potential? Just think in your mind, what will be the potential across the wire AB? So I will write potential across wire AB. Okay. I will pause for 1 second. How many of you are not able to understand that this question belongs to potentiometer? However, it is not mentioned anywhere in the question that this question belongs to potentiometer. I don't think if you can't recognize this, that this is the question based on potentiometer, then it will be very difficult for you. It will be very difficult for you. Let me just adjust my shirt. Okay. So it will be very difficult for you to solve. So this question belongs to the category of potentiometer. Clear. Now, potential across the wire AB is what you can say potential across AB is what I into R. I into R. Current is 1 ampere, resistance is 5 ohm, so that is 5 volt. Potential across AB is 5 volt. Now, this EMF E, this EMF E is balanced across 3 meter. 5 meter length has a potential of 5 volt. Then this 3 meter length will have a potential of 3 volt. Very simple calculation. 5 meter has a potential of 5 volt, so 3 meter will have a potential of 3 volt. So let this point is C. So potential across AC will be what? 3 volt, because length is what? 3 meter. 5 meter has a 5 volt potential. You can solve it using potential gradient formula as well, but there is no need to use that. So potential across AC is 3 volt. That means EMF of cell is what? 3 volt. EMF of cell is what? 3 volt. In the classes of potentiometer, you must go there and try to understand the principle of potentiometer. I have explained in detail. Okay, moving further. For the next question, let me check the time. So we can solve one more question here. Option is B. Option is B. That is 3 volt. Now, another question. There is a helium nucleus, okay, is projected towards a zinc nucleus at rest. If helium approaches with 1.6 mega electron volt, then distance of closest approach will be. Now it might create some confusions. Confusion, confusion, confusion. Confusion ही confusion है. Solution कुछ पता नहीं. So let's suppose this is zinc. Now mark the word zinc nucleus. They are talking. They are not talking about zinc atom. They are saying zinc nucleus. So this is zinc nucleus, which is at rest, and there is a helium nucleus, and it starts moving towards zinc nucleus with some energy, and that energy is given as 1.6 mega electron volt. Now, what will happen? Nucleus of helium has some positive charge because of the protons. It has two protons. It has how much protons? Helium has two protons. You know, na? So, one proton has E charge. So, two protons will have two E charge. Clear? Now, zinc has 30 protons in the nucleus. I hope you know the periodic table. So, zinc has 30 protons. So, what is the charge on its nucleus? 30 protons are there. Na? Each proton has a charge 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb, which is generally denoted by E, small e. So, that zinc will have 30 E charge. Both the charges are positive. So as helium tries to approach the zinc nucleus, they will be repelled. They will be repelled. So it is started, the helium has started moving very faster, but due to the repulsion, its speed will decrease, and at a certain point, its speed will become zero. And after that, what will happen? If its speed becomes zero, the speed of the helium becomes zero, then after that, it will return back. So the maximum point is what at which its speed becomes zero. Now, I will repeat all these things in another terms. It has some kinetic energy initially. It has some kinetic energy which is given as 1.6 mega electron volt. Now, when it reaches the closest distance, let's suppose it reaches maximum here. So at this point, its kinetic energy becomes zero. Clear? And let's suppose this separation is what R. This separation is what R. So can you imagine where is this kinetic energy? The initially it has lots of kinetic energy, and now it is at rest. If it is at rest, so its kinetic energy is lost. So where it has gone? It is converted into the potential energy. It is converted into the potential energy. That is electrostatic potential energy. You can see. So what I am saying, what's happening? This is the question of conservation of energy. Basically, change in kinetic energy is equals to change in potential energy, or loss in kinetic energy is equals to gain in potential energy. What is the loss in kinetic energy? You can say loss in kinetic energy is equals to gain in potential energy, or you can directly apply conservation of energy. K final plus U final is equals to K initial plus U initial. Okay. So I just need to put the values. What is the loss of kinetic energy? That is 1.6 mega electron volt. This much kinetic energy is lost is equals to how much potential energy it has now. It has some, now you remember, I hope you remember the potential energy of a system of two charges, electrostatic constant Ke, Q1, Q2 by separation R. So that is Ke, or you can, you know that 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Ke, that is Ke. Q1, Q2. One has a charge 2e, another has a charge 30e divided by the separation R. Clear? Okay. Now you just need to solve. The distance of closest approach is asked. This R is the distance of closest approach. So I am putting the values 1.6. Now mega means 10 to the power 6. Very good. Electron volt means if you see the picture, the whole units, all the units must be in SI system. So SI unit of electron volt is energy is joule. So if you don't know the relation, I will tell you 1 electron volt is equals to 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 joule. Is it clear? 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 joule. This is what 1 electron volt. Clear? So this is 1.6 mega. If you want to convert electron volt into joule, you need to multiply by this number, that is 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 is equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught is what you know, 9 into 10 to the power 9 into that, can you see 30 into 2, 60 E into E divided by R. Now 1 E can be cancelled by this one. Is it clear? I hope it is clear. Now, if you put, if you transfer things, R will be what? 9 into 10 to the power 9 into 60 into 1.6 into 10 to power minus 19. This is value of E divided by 1.6 into 10 to the power 6. This 1.6 will be cancelled. So that will be 9 into 6, 54. And can you see the powers? This is 9 and 10, and this is 19 and 16. 19 and 6, 25. Minus 25 plus 10, that is minus 15. This is your answer. R is going to be 54 into 10 to power minus 15 meter. And this 10 to power minus 15 meter is known as Fermi. Is known as Fermi. So which is the correct option? 54 Fermi. That is 54 Fermi, which is option number C. I hope it is clear to everyone. Can I solve one more question now? This is going to be the last question. After that, I am not discussing any further question. This is, we will discuss those questions in the later part or in the next part, whatever. But this is going to be the last question. I hope you can recognize. First of all, try to recognize the question from which chapter it is. If you can recognize, if you can feel the question, then it will be easy for you to answer. Then you can shift your mind, because mind has some storage and you can't expect it to respond without knowing where you should go. Like, are you getting my point? First of all, you should give some kind of instructions to your mind, like in which chapter you should search. So mind has some storage. According, the kinematics is stored in some another part. The magnetism is stored in some another part. So you should give instruction to your mind. And somebody is asking who will give instruction. Mind has the power to give the instruction. Na? And if your mind is not working, then how could you? A particle is moving eastward in the east direction. You can say direction is also given. The diagram is sufficiently enough. This is initial, this is final. 6 meter per second. After 6 seconds, the particle is found to be moving with the same speed in direction 60 degree north of east. The magnitude of average acceleration they are asking. So first of all, we will start with the what is average acceleration. If I say average acceleration is what? Change in velocity, v final minus v initial divided by the time period. That is what average acceleration is. Let it be equation number 1. Now I will write v final and v initial and we will get the answer. If you see, look at that. The velocity, if you see, it is 6 meter per second. Final velocity I am talking about. in at this direction. So what will be its component? You can say this component will be 6 into cos 60, and this component will be 6 sin 60. Can you see that? Can you see the components here? So if I write V final is what? 6 cos 60, and this cos 60 is in the I cap direction. Very good. Plus 6 sin 60 in the j cap direction. This is what final velocity. Clear. I have resolved this 6 meter per second in two components. One is horizontal, one is vertical. With the horizontal, I have placed I cap. With vertical, I have placed j cap. No problem with that. And what about V initial? V initial is what? 6 I cap only. It is moving in the x direction only. So now you know final velocity and initial velocity. Just put the values and get the answer. Now if I put the values, V final is what? 6 cos 60 I cap plus 6 sin 60 j cap minus. This is V final. Minus V initial is what? 6 I cap divided by what is the time period? You know, time period is what? After 6 seconds. That is 6. So there are a lot of sixes here. 6, 6, 6. 6 can be cancelled. It feels like Chris Gayle is batting. Okay. So who is going to be the new Chris Gayle? Who is going to break the record of Chris Gayle? You know Chris Gayle, na? You know cricket. So if I write it again, 6 can be cancelled. So cos 60 is what? 1 by 2 I cap plus sin 60 is what? Root 3 by 2 j cap minus I cap. Only 6 is cancelled, not I cap is cancelled. So what is A? What is the acceleration? You can see that I cap and I cap, that is going to be root 3 by 2 j cap minus 1 by 2 I cap. Now they are not asking in the vector form, they are asking the magnitude. So if I write the magnitude, you can say magnitude of A is what? Is root of coefficients of I and j square. That is 3 by 4 plus 1 by 4. That is 4 by 4. That is 1 meter per second square. So what is the average acceleration is 1 meter per second square. I hope it is clear. This is your answer, 1 meter per second square. On this note, I am ending the session. I hope you understand all the questions. Hope you enjoyed the session. So all the best. Bye everyone.